All right, hello. We are live with this new episode of Flecking, Hallsome Breakdown. This episode was Power Broker of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, as usual, we're going to start with my poorly given breakdown of it that Jared will have to walk me through. And then we will go into kick off things with Jared, kind of talking through his notes. So, this episode jumps back and forth a lot between the Flag Smashers and our main Winter Soldier and Falcon. So we're going to break it into those two parts, following their each storylines as one consistent thing. So starting off with Captain Bucky and John Walker, I guess, because he's got a couple scenes. But John and Battlestar, Lamar, are investigating the shop, gas station, whatever it was that the Flag Smashers had stayed and sheltered in the previous episode. John is interrogating them pretty harshly, trying to get information out of them. Till he gets his feelings hurt, gets spit at by the guy who gave them shelter. Basically, he screams at the guy, like, "Do you know who I am?" Saying that he is Captain America. And the guy replies very coolly, just, "I do, and I don't care." So, yeah, obviously some disconnect of him and Steve Cap. Then we jump to, well, I guess, okay, no. Lamar and John have a conversation, like, our leads have gone cold, we'll have to deal with someone with better luck, or something along those lines. And then we cut to Bucky and Sam in Berlin, breaking out, or going to see Zemo in prison. Bucky says, "I'm going to go talk to him alone, just because Sam's an Avenger, it'll piss him off to see Sam there." Really, it's just to devise a plan to get Zemo out of the prison, bring Zemo out of the prison. They go through this plan in a warehouse. Bucky's talking it over with Sam. Basically, as it's happening, as it's going down, we get a nice little montage of Zemo going through all this, setting off fire alarms, starting fights, all this kind of stuff, impersonating prison guards. Only for all of them to end up at the warehouse and argue again, because there's not enough arguing in this show. But they need Zemo to point them in the direction of where this new super soldier serum is coming from. And Bucky says, we need him. He's not going to turn on us because he has a code. He needs to finish his job of getting rid of the super soldier serum, the Winter Soldier program. So they follow this lead to Madripoor, the fictional city in place of Hong Kong?
I think it's just a fictional island off of Asia. It's based off Singapore.
Singapore, that's right.
I'm pretty sure Singapore still exists.
Right, yeah. But yeah, so they go to Madripoor, which is the big crime island place of Marvel. Any kind of crime that can be committed is committed here openly and freely. It's split into two sections, the high end and the low end, or high town and low town. High town being your more victimless white-collar crimes, and low town being the dirtier work, basically. So they get there, going through their battle plan. Sam is impersonating Smiling Tiger, and I can't remember his real name. I look it up for me, Derek.
I'll find it.
Yeah. Conrad something. I got Conrad.
No, I don't want pictures of actual tigers smiling.
But Sam is impersonating Smiling Tiger because he looks exactly like him, because it's literally Anthony Mackie in a different
It's
costume.
Conrad Mack. That's what it
Conrad
is.
Mack, thank you. Yep. And Bucky is disguised as the Winter Soldier under the control of Zemo. That is their way of sneaking Bucky past and making Bucky a threat. So they get in. They're trying to meet with Selby. Zemo's talking and telling this, bouncer, basically the shopkeeper who's guarding this area, saying, "Look, you can go get the power broker. Tell him to come deal with me, or you can get Selby." And then tells Bucky, or the Winter Soldier, to attack. And so Bucky lays waste to everyone in this general vicinity in order to appear more as a threat. So the bouncer lets him in, tells him to go meet with Selby. Still, trying to maintain this act. At one point, Sam has to drink some drink that is Smiling Tiger's favorite, which it was like what, the venom sac of a snake? Is that what it?
I don't know. It was organs.
Yeah, they cut open a snake, put some organ in a shot glass. But they're trying to maintain this illusion. They get up there and start talking. They're having a conversation. I know about the power broker. I know where he's at. You can't do this with you. You can't find him without me. Yada yada yada. And then Sam's phone goes off. He's getting a call from Sarah, his sister, talking about their situation. She does. She's pretty vague to start. Sam's using this and saying, "Oh, what situation? Oh, that situation. Yeah, I'll kill that banker. You want me to kill that guy for you? Because I will totally kill that guy for you." But basically trying to maintain the illusion that he is Smiling Tiger and not Sam Wilson, the Falcon. Immediately that cover's blown because his sister is yelling at her kids and says, "I'm going to have to call you back, Sam." So the room breaks out, who's Sam? And then Selby, the contact they were meeting with, dies. She gets shot from somewhere that we don't see quite yet. And then, they're breaking. An alert goes out, basically that Selby's dead. 1,000. I think it was. I don't remember. I don't know the currency, but it was
whatever the Madripoor currency.
1,000 currency for the killers. I was going to say Bitcoin. I'm like, I don't want to be wrong, but it honestly looked like a Bitcoin logo when I first saw it. It was a weird
symbol and just said 1K, but like in my head, I'm like, that's kind of low for like a bounty on someone's head,
right?
Especially for the people who like killed your leader. But I don't know. I'm not. Yeah. I don't think virtual currency is too much to worry about.
It was 1,000 Bitcoin. I'm right. It's it's expensive.
Madripoor's on the edge of
they're cutting edge mining technology. That's where all the mining is. So a bounty goes out, and then they're running, trying to hide, trying to lay low so they don't die, and they run into Sharon Carter, Peggy's great-granddaughter? I don't remember the relation.
I thought it was a niece.
Niece, thank you.
So, niece or great niece, something like that.
Yes.
Because that's what people are trying to justify for Captain America kissing her.
Right.
Like, they're not actually related.
Right. Yeah, so Sharon Carter, Peggy's niece, we see her in Civil War and Winter Soldier. They also referenced her in the second episode talking about getting the shield back, saying how Sharon was on the run and she was a fugitive of the state. So we get that explored again in this episode, where she talks about, she didn't have the Avengers' help. She is still on the run. She won't get extradited from Madripoor. But if she goes back into the States, she will get arrested immediately. But she says she's living the hustler's life here in Madripoor, hustling paintings and things like that. So she's not doing bad for herself here. She's living the life.
So just for some clarification, I looked it up. So it says in the original comic books, Sharon was the younger sister of Peggy, but then it was retconned for the movies that
Yeah.
she's the great niece of Peggy.
You made out with my sister? Oh, yeah. They lay low in Sharon. I keep wanting to say Peggy now. They lay low in Sharon's, house, compound, wherever, for a bit, getting changed. Sharon talked about how she's got people coming over to check clients, um, and they're talking about. They discussed briefly, the um, about being a hero and how it's all not real, and trying to diagnose the psyche of Sam, saying that that's why you gave up the shield. You know it's all fake. It's all bullshit. Um, and then they are put onto a lead of Dr. Nagel. Dr. Nagel is the man who has continued the research and development of the super soldier serum. So they follow that up, find him in a storage container laboratory in a shipping yard or somewhere. They are interrogating him rather, trying to figure out who who he's working for, where he's getting the supplies, who he's shipped these things to, who's gotten the super soldier serum, all these kinds of questions. And when Zemo doesn't get the answers he wants, he shoots him dead. This guy who was the main maker of the super soldier serum is now dead. He had confirmed that there were 20 samples that he had made, and later we'll hear from Flag Smashers that there were 8 confirmed super soldiers within their ranks. The scientist dies. The bounty hunters find the gang in the shipping container and start hunting them down, trying to kill them, and causing or forcing Zemo to don his purple mask that he is we've seen in the trailers. He gets to show off his Echo Scorpion training. He was a special forces unit in Sokovia. So we get to see that training and actually see his skills as a fighter. Sorry, my whole monitor just freaked out again. But that happens. They fight. They win, of course. There was a brief moment of Sharon talking to somebody, saying, we've got a problem. Actually, make it 2 big problems. Talking about Sam and Bucky. After they split up and go their separate ways, Sam having promised to get her a pardon when they get back to the States and finish their mission. And I believe that wraps up their whole thing, right? So then Flag Smashers.
Well, wait. When they get to the next facility with Bucky and he goes on a walk.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that. Thank you. So they get into the next. They get to their next safe zone, their next save point, and they're walking around this town.
It's outside of Sokovia. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Because he mentions the monument to remember Sokovia.
Oh, okay. Cool. I missed that one. So they're walking around Sokovia then, or outside Sokovia. You see Bucky kind of looking around, and then he says, I'm going to go take a walk. I'll meet up with you guys later. And we see him pick up a Kimoyo bead, I believe is what they were called. So he's following this trail of Kimoyo beads, which are the Wakandan, technology. So he's following those to be met with a Wakandan soldier in an alleyway. I don't know if it's anyone we've met. I think it was just.
I think it was Civil War. Whenever the scene where Black Panther is chasing Captain America through the tunnels. You know how they go out and then there's one like guarding the vehicle when they
Mm-hmm.
first like get in. Pretty sure it was her. It's a Ayo. I think that was her name.
It wasn't Okoye.
I'll find it.
It wasn't Okoye.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it's Ayo.
Okay. So it's somebody we have met before, but not a big.
Yeah, no,
character.
She wasn't
okay.
Like face character.
But yeah, Bucky, Bucky's making jokes. Hey, you dropped this. I wondered when you were going to get here, or something along those lines. And she says to him, "I'm here for Zemo," and that's how the episode ends for everything. Then so going down now the Flag Smasher part of the story. We start with them. We learn that they are trying to, or Carly's objective, Carly Morgenthau, the leader of the group, her objective is to get the super soldier serum for Mama Danya, which is a character we meet in this episode. She has tuberculosis. She's dying. Carly wants to get this serum to save her, basically. Along with getting supplies for everybody, they still have that more altruistic cause. But Carly also wants this for this maternal figure or her mom. It could actually be her mom. We don't know. But there, later on, there's a nice moment between her and I think Diego. I think is what his name was. Basically talking about what could we have done? What were we gonna do? What were our lives gonna be before everybody came back? Carly talks about how she was gonna be a teacher. Basically, that again saying like this wasn't just their goal to begin with. They had good lives during the blip. Those 5 years, they had decent lives. They were going to do things, and then people came back. GRC kicked in, caring more about the people who came back, trying to replace them from where they were displaced, and forgetting about the people who did exist for those 5 years. Then we get a scene of them stealing more supplies, and again, that idea. She's talking to a guard. The guard that she tied up says to her, "You filthy flag smashers," and she says to him, "You had 6 months of supplies just sitting in here. We're fighting to survive." Kind of ruin that whole idea after she gets in the car, leaves her car, and the car explodes and blows up the hospital building, whatever building it was they were in.
It was the GRC Foundation.
GRC, okay. So the GRC building, she blows up the building where they got the supplies from, and the person with her is like, there were innocent people in there. There were still people in there, and she says, this is the only thing these people will understand. This is the only language these people understand. And that was kind of their whole. Jared, correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think so. It's just like with that last thing with like Zemo, Bucky, and them. I'll get into it when I give my spiel.
How's that? I'm done. Go ahead, take the reins. All you.
All right. So last week I started this off with talking about the leaked Captain Falcon figure where we see him, and this week I bring to you another leak that's a little backed up. So this week on the action figure leaks we have John Walker labeled as U.S. agent in his black and red suit and no shield. And to give that a little more juice, last week when you would Google the Falcon and the Winter Soldier cast, Wyatt Russell was listed as John Walker. Now he's listed as U.S. agent.
Oh, is it really?
So, yep.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Okay.
So it's happening. because he hasn't really been given a name. The actual official, like, they called him the new Captain America, but like, and he claims to be Captain America, but it's not widely known. Like, no one's actually calling him Captain America yet. So that's I just found that out when I looked it up, like, while you were talking. I was like, oh, baby.
Nice. Okay, cool.
So
I mean, that's gotta happen soon then.
Yeah,
And we're already kind of seeing
3
that.
episodes left.
Well, yeah, that's true. But we're already seeing that downturn of his personality, where he's willing to work outside the law now.
So, okay, I think what I'm going to do is focus on each character, go through them. Sam was pretty static this whole episode. He's sticking to his guns. He knows what he wants to do. Sharon Carter, she was introduction for this episode. This is the first time we've seen her in the series. I am super interested to see where she goes with her 2 big problems, because obviously she hasn't been in the States for a long time. So how much does Madripoor actually...
Or has she?
Anyways, how much has Madripoor and the bronze monkey actually sunken its teeth into her? And so we'll definitely, she is credited to be in the rest, like, every other episode, so we'll definitely see more of her. I was talking to Trey before this. Last week we were talking about how Battlestar was only credited for 1 episode, so we weren't going to see him again, but he was in this episode, and now he's credited for 2 by IMDb, so now it's hard to base any of our true theories off that, because it might be wrong. But as the series is coming closer to its end, it's more likely to be true.
Before,
go ahead.
While you're on that, let me hit you with something, because I kind of thought about that since you told me that. I was thinking about that while we were starting.
Mm-hmm.
What if they're keeping his episode number a secret for a reason? What if him specifically has more of a bigger reason to be kept quiet?
I don't know. I'm really, like, with WandaVision, I was all for, like, yeah, I'm going to accept every single theory.
Yeah.
But for this, because it's so limited, like, I'm just ready to accept everything at face value. Like, I don't think anything's going to get much bigger than they're already telling us. Like, I don't think there's going to be a big reveal with him. Because, like, going back to the whole U.S. agent thing, I think it's going to get to a point where because obviously John Walker, he's very in touch with the government. We see in Civil War that Captain America is, like, when he fights the police with Bucky, we see that happening. And, like, Captain America, he's doing that because he's willing to accept that what's right isn't necessarily okay in the eyes of the law. So he's willing to go against that for the right reasons. Whereas U.S. agent, he's working with the cops. He's doing what the government says as if he's like a false figurehead for them. And they're using him to do what they want with a gold star on top of it.
Right.
Which that's a big theme of this whole episode I'm going to get into. But I can see him, like, going off the rails, and the government's like, yeah, this was a bad idea. You're a little mentally unstable. We'll still let you work for us, but you got to give the shield to Sam. And because, like, I don't think they're gonna set him up as necessarily a bad guy, because he doesn't want to be a bad guy. He's just having issues that people aren't accepting him as who he is. So if they relabel him as U.S. agent, a good soldier who is above the ranks of other people, but Sam can still be Captain America because we know he gets the shield. That was a talking point about stealing the shield back already. So I think there's going to be kind of a mutual understanding that John Walker, like, understands he may not be right for the title and just gives it up voluntarily. Mm-hmm. That's what I'd like to think. That's my theory. So yeah, let's focus on the theme of necessary evil. So when we first see Baron Zemo, he picks up a book and says he was reading Machiavelli. Machiavelli is the person who sort of coined the idea of necessary evil and doing what you have to do to, like, even if it may be seen as wrong, you're doing what you have to do for the right reasons. But here's the kicker. Machiavelli I can never pronounce that. Machiavellianism is part of the quote-unquote dark triad in psychology, the other two being narcissism and psychopathy. So, because we know Baron's a bad guy. He's like a formidable villain. He's not going to stay good till the end of the series. He's going to turn on them. We already see that by him willfully killing Nagel just because he's trying to tie up loose ends with the super serum program. So, yeah, he was reading that. And then we also have, when we first meet Zemo, he says the activation words for Winter Soldier, and he's like, I'm not that same person. And then Zemo's essentially like, yeah, you may not be, but I feel like there's still a little something in there. And then that really comes into play when they're at the Bronze Monkey, where Zemo's like, Bucky is doing the act of Winter Soldier, but he's a really good actor.
He's really good at it.
Willing to break people's arms and beat them up. And then Sam's like, you good? And he just goes, like it said, sharp exhale. That was his response to Sam asking if he was good. So it kind of just really highlights that internal battle Bucky's having of like, that was his life for years and years and years. And he wants to get rid of it, but it's almost like a second nature to him. So he's having trouble doing that. All right, so covered U.S. Agent action figure. Mr. Evil. Oh shit. 1 second. So when they first, we find out like Zemo, his family was royalty, so he's super rich. That's not really a huge plot point. It's just convenient for him to have a bunch of cars and a private jet. But when they're first on the private jet, Zemo had gotten his hands on Bucky's little notebook with his list of names, and he asks about, I can never remember his name. No.
Yeah, I can't read it.
Yeah, I'm gonna butcher it. I'll find it. 1 second.
Nakajami or something like that.
Yeah, I know it starts with an N for sure. Let's just call him Yori. Yori's last name. And so we ask about that, but we had previously seen that Zemo's name was in it, and he doesn't mention it, but he does like deduce that it's a list of people who he might have like wronged, and then Bucky gets pissed. But we do find out that it's the same notebook that Captain America had, and I think that was a little underplayed. I think that should have been a little more sentimental, but it leaves it to the mind of the viewer to be like, so Captain left his shield to Sam, but he left his like personal notebook of everything he wanted to learn and know about when he came out of the ice. He left like his arguably most personal possession to Bucky, and that's just really sweet, man. I just really liked that, and that was just like a side comment. I was like, whatever. But yeah, there was a whole spiel with Zemo about how people like to hold these figureheads like Captain America and Red Skull as like untouchables, like they don't do any wrong. And then Zemo even goes as far to compare Captain America to Red Skull by saying like all this stuff about him and then saying, yeah, like Red Skull. And that was another interesting thing to see, because that kind of, I think that's helping set up the idea of, what's the anti-Avengers team name?
Thunderbolts is the name I've heard.
Yeah, Thunderbolts. Because that's what the Flag Smashers are about too, is like, yeah, these people aren't being held accountable for their actions, and like everyone sees as what they're doing is right just because that's their act. Like, there's so many deep things. But yeah, so going off that, they're in the plane talking about that. Bucky tries to choke out Zemo. He's like, "Hey, I don't do no wrong.
I only framed you for murder and bombed a UN meeting."
Okay, so my next point is we figure out that the Power Broker is personally going after the Flag Smashers because they stole the Super Serum, and that was supposed to be for the Power Broker. Now, here's one outrageous theory I don't agree with at all.
I really hope we have the same. Oh,
I don't think it will be. But I don't know. People think that John Walker got dosed with the Super Serum and is working with the Power Broker. But, like, I don't know. I don't agree with that. That seems to be, like, a big thing. People are like, he's definitely a super soldier. Look how he throws the shield. I'm like, they made a point of, like, saying he tested off the charts in every category naturally, and that's why they picked him. And, like, I don't think he would have gotten dosed sooner than... Because, like, he's been in the military his whole life up to this point. Like, the government has had him. They've known his every move.
Yeah.
So I'm still playing around with who the Power Broker might be. Trey.
So I think we've all seen the theory getting kicked around now that it's, Thaddeus Ross, Department of Defense, whatever his title is now. The big thing is that he was, I don't remember what his title was in Civil War or in Infinity War, but he has, his position gives him the best chance of, he would be the one going to the UN meetings, meeting with different countries, a global initiative such as the GRC, he would have a foothold in. So people are, obviously the big thing is that gives credence to that. But lest we forget, there is a well-hated movie in this MCU in which we see Thaddeus Ross bringing on scientists to recreate the Captain America Super Soldier Serum. Same Stark tank, same Stark formula and everything, or not Stark's formula, but I can't remember that doctor's name.
Hydra? Nagel?
What?
Oh, wait, no.
No, not Nagel, but the guy that, basically the guy that took up, that Nagel was playing off of.
William Stryker.
No, but I'm waiting for the X-Men.
I'm getting there, don't worry.
But yeah, so, like, we know Thaddeus Ross has already been trying to recreate the Super Soldier Serum. He could have very well been, had this doctor in nameless South Asian island that is full of crime. Who's gonna fucking snitch on this guy in an island full of crime bosses? So he's working in secret to recreate this formula. And Sharon, who got in trouble stealing the wings and the shield back in Civil War, much like Scott and Clint, took a plea deal, became Thaddeus Ross's informant, right-hand man. She's working closely, supervising the production of this, working closely in Madripoor. So that's why she's got this disguise. She's working undercover as a hustler, but really she's keeping tabs on Nagler, keeping tabs on the serum. So when Sam and Bucky start investigating it, that's why she's calling to Ross or whoever, saying, "Hey, we got a problem. We got two problems. People are looking into this." But I don't think, I will say, I don't think Ross is going to make an appearance in this show.
Hey, Trey, do you happen to know what General Thaddeus E. Ross's nickname is?
Thunderbolt. No, that's exactly why, too. Thunderbolt Ross. I meant to say that, too, that it's Thunderbolt Ross. And because
his name.
That's the other thing, too, is that because Zemo's in this, we know Ross makes an appearance in Black Widow with the Taskmaster and her sister, Black Widow's sister. So Ross showing up in all these is sort of the Nick Fury of the Avengers. He's showing up in the background, collecting all these anti-Avengers.
Also, that would play in super well with the pattern Marvel's forming with the TV shows to get people interested in the bad movies of the Marvel Universe. Because I've never seen Incredible Hulk. I know. But isn't the extra credit scene in that the scientist turning into Red Hulk?
No, Red Hulk has not been, because Thaddeus Ross is Red Hulk.
Positive? Because is he?
Yeah.
I'm almost positive there's an extra credit scene in The Incredible Hulk where someone was transforming. I'll see what I can find.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't watch the end credit scene for that one. Because I thought the end credit scene was him talking to Tony Stark.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Because I thought it was Tony Stark in the bar.
Okay, yeah, it does show Tony Stark. But I was almost positive I saw something with some dude getting real weird.
Well, it could have been Abomination in the actual movie.
Anyways, X-Men.
Yeah, go ahead. That's my raw theory.
I like it. That's what I'm saying with my willingness to accept theories. I just feel like there's too much that I want to happen, but there's only 3 episodes left. They can't do that.
Right.
Okay, so Madripoor. That is most commonly associated with Wolverine. But so the city of Atlanta a while ago during the filming of Falcon and Winter Soldier announced that it was like the city of Atlanta Public Library or something like that was a filming location for Falcon and Winter Soldier, and they said that there's a big reveal character who has a scene in there, and it's Mephisto.
It's Mephisto.
But so it's immediate, like, what are they going to introduce? And because this is right after WandaVision, I feel like they had to preemptively know people are going to be mad about Ralph. So let's get someone else in there, and people are trying to say, it's Wolverine. But, like, I don't know. I really think they're going to let that die with Hugh Jackman. But it's tough to judge.
Was it this show that they had a secret casting for a pretty big name actor, but then it got out really quickly? It's either this show or it's a movie later on, but
I'm not sure. But yeah, people are like, yo, Madripoor, can't wait for Wolverine to show up to finally connect the X-Men universe, because like they're not. I highly doubt they're going to do anything even related to that with Loki, and they owe us. I feel mad about Evan Peters. But I'm just trying to put things in perspective of like the timeline. But the timeline obviously doesn't really matter because of how fucked up it was with the like X-Men Apocalypse and all that stuff. So who knows who might show up? Could just be another red herring.
I would say more than likely it's a red herring. But if he does show up, I could see it as some post-credit scene in Madripoor, something going on there, almost setting up Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
It's the Mandarin!
Exactly. I mean, yeah, because... Well, no. No.
Exactly.
Exactly. Wait a minute.
Fake Mandarin.
It's Trevor! But no, because like that's how people are thinking he's going to show up, is like, because that basically Shang-Chi it's looking like it's going to be just a Mortal Kombat style movie in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I hardly know anything about that.
All we've really seen is like set locations where it's like big open areas, big like dojos and things. But so people are thinking
that
like
one will definitely be kind of standalone.
Yeah, but it's going to be standalone for sure. But I'm thinking they're going to like, you know, we have Madripoor. It'd be nice to pull some of these crime bosses, and pull them in.
These fighters who do crime.
Yeah, these are fighters who do crime.
Ben Kingsley is credited as the cast for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
But he's not. They're not going to do that again.
Trevor.
Yeah.
Well, no, they have someone credited as the Mandarin already.
But I was like, he's going to be Trevor.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. What else was I going to say? But yeah, I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see if there actually is a big reveal, which I feel like, I don't know, that's just the style of Marvel, is to have one big, like, what?
Right. I think this show's big what is going to be more of a, because we already know it's coming. It's
Deadpool.
No, it's going to be. I mean, if we're 100% honest with ourselves, just like with the WandaVision thing, we knew it was leading up to just her grief, but she becomes Scarlet Witch. This is very much dealing with Sam's grief and him becoming Captain America.
Well, if we're being honest with ourselves, Deadpool 3 is in the MCU.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm excited for it, but I'm really nervous of what they're gonna do because, like,
well, because it's Deadpool, they can easily just have a whole thing where it fucks up the entire universe, and then it could just be Deadpool telling a story.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
well, and they kind of
so much creative liberty with that universe.
They kind of gave themselves an out too with having Cable. So it's like, oh, time travel again. Yeah. I don't know.
Hey, bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. Ryan Reynolds is here with Josh Brolin, but he's not Thanos.
Ryan Reynolds. He's Green Lantern.
He's Green Lantern. Yeah.
But yeah, so I sent you a picture directly on Discord. I don't know if you can open it while we're doing this, but that's the scene I was talking about. So Ao was the bodyguard of Black Panther. What movie was it in? Was it in Black Panther? No, it was Civil War.
No, this is Civil War.
No, right. Ah. Yeah. She was Black Panther's bodyguard during his trip to Berlin following the assassination.
Oh.
She also appeared in Black Panther and Infinity War, but she was kind of just like there. It's kind of neat for them to bring her back, but she's obviously there for Zemo. Like, they even talk about that. She wants to kill him because he killed T'Chaka.
See, but I don't think they're upset about it. Like, are you talking about Zemo killed T'Chaka, not...
Yeah.
Okay.
They accepted that Bucky was brainwashed during that,
gotcha.
But they know that Zemo was obviously the mastermind of it all. Because he is obviously very against the Sokovia Accords. Oh yeah, that's another thing I was going to talk about. So they get to that place, and he's like, "Yeah, this is the surrounding area of Sokovia. It's pretty much non-existent." So he talks about, like, he's like, "I bet you guys never even visited the memorial to it." That's what we see in the trailer. So that'll probably happen next episode, right. And I think that might be when Bucky does his makes amends, because we see him drop the bullets. So he might be going to him with a loaded gun. He's like, "I should kill you right now. That's what the people of Wakanda would want. They're here for you, but I said I would talk to you before I let them get their hands on you." But I also think it might be like a contractual type of thing where Ao's like, "All right, I see that you need him, but as soon as you guys are done, we're taking custody of him."
Right.
But yeah, I feel like that'll probably happen next episode since they're there already, and they're probably going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I think as well we're going to get that. I think John's going to give up the shield in this next episode.
Yeah, it's about time. Because we do know from the trailer that Bucky and Sam are both in New Orleans at Sam's house with the shield,
right?
And
like,
or it could be the end of episode 3, and then we don't get any of the content till episode 5. So like, yeah, I meant 4.
4, yeah. That's true. Because then, because I just feel like, we need the episode of Sam getting used to the shield, going through all of that, what the shield means, really unpacking all of that.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna get our big bad, which is gonna be Zemo. It's not gonna be the Flag Smash. It's gonna be something's gonna go wrong with Zemo going back to Wakanda. And then we're gonna fight, and that's gonna be them using the shield in the fight. But I think John's gonna give up the shield in this next episode.
The big guest is Martin Freeman.
It's showing up again for a third time.
Yeah, because obviously, like, we're gonna have Falcon back in his suit at some point, and that's back in the States. Because right now they're in it's Eastern Europe, and then Like, we see him in New Orleans, so they have to get back there. But it's real convenient how quickly they can travel for not having any money.
Yeah.
But we won't talk about
Cool.
that. I want an extra credit scene where Sam Wilson comes face to face with the smiling tiger, and it's just Anthony Mackie, smiling tiger.
Yeah. Well, that's what, because I was like, I'm looking at that photo, I'm like, it's literally just Anthony Mackie.
Literally Anthony Mackie. The facial hair might be added on. It kind of looks like a marker, to be honest. It's just, it looks like smudge.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to have that scene, just as a throwaway, I'm all for it.
So, I wanted, before we get to the end of this, I text shared last night because there was a news article came out about episode 5. So not this next episode, but the one after. And basically saying, so actually that could be the one that John loses the shield. But basically saying this is a super emotional episode. You know, like this is going to be an intense episode. And so I was like, started theory brain kicking in. I came up with theory. I text Jared, and I'm like, I got something. I want to save it for tomorrow. Basing this fully off of what we knew about which characters were and weren't coming back for the show, and then immediately that gets thrown out the window with Lamar coming back in another episode. But my theory was, and it's kind of out there, but I also don't think so. So this theory is Bucky's going to die in an act of self-sacrifice to save John. So something's going to go down with Zemo. John's already a loose cannon now. We're seeing this. He's going to lose his shit, start fighting Zemo, and basically he's going to get unhinged, start making mistakes, and is going to get shot or something. He's going to die. Bucky's going to step in, sacrifice himself for John, to save John, as sort of this last, I can't make all the amends in this list anymore. This is my last act of, I'm not the Winter Soldier. I am a hero. I am the guy Cap wants me to be. And John is gonna, realize like this. I can't do that. I would not have been able to do that. I can't be the one to make the sacrifice play.
Clever.
What?
Clever.
Thank you. So he's gonna step down and realize that Sam is someone who could do that. We're seeing this now. Sam is who idolizes, looks up to Cap all completely. Memorizing everything about his book and what Cap loved and who he was. So, John's gonna give the shield to him. Like, I can't be that man. I am a soldier first, and that's it. You are the hero. You're the hero Cap wanted you to be. Because I also don't think we have a whole lot left. I don't think Sebastian's going to be coming back. I don't think we've heard a lot about his Marvel contract. So.
All right, time for my rebuttal.
All right, hit me with it.
Overall, I do like the theory. It's nice. Like, now that you mention it, I haven't heard much about Sebastian Stan and what he's doing. But for the message you're theorizing, I feel like it would make more sense for Sam to kind of make the sacrifice thing, and then John being like, oh shit, I wouldn't have done that. Here's a shield so you don't die next time.
True.
But at the same time, like, the idea that Bucky's trying to make amends and like meet this vision that Cap had for him also makes sense. But yeah, what you said about John being like, I'm a soldier first, that follows suit with what he said when we first met him, of him being like, I just want to do the job. Mm-hmm. And Battlestar's like, this is the job, all the publicity. And we're constantly seeing how well Sam can talk to people. It's like with the banker, and like how personable he is when the guy's like, hey, it's Black Falcon. He's like, it's because I'm the Falcon and I'm black. He's like, well, yeah. And like, he's just having this casual, funny conversation with a kid he's never met. Right. So like, obviously he's super personable. So yeah. I do think he might get the shield in a battle type situation. There is one scene in the trailer where we see Sam in like a warehouse, like throwing the shield. I think it'd be. This is what I want to happen. I want John Walker, because John's tracking him. He's gonna catch up to him. He was following Zemo, Prison Break.
Oh, Zemo. I was like, is he though? Because Red Wing is destroyed. But no, you're right. They're following footsteps now.
They're following the trail.
Yeah.
So this is what I want to happen. I want them to fight. I want John to throw the shield. Bucky catches it and then just runs away. He can speed run. John Walker can't speed run.
He can fly. Yeah.
And then the episode ends, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, they have a shield now."
Hey.
And cuts to John Walker. He's just sitting and crying, and Battlestar's like, he's like, "Stop! Can't do this anymore."
He just paints his uniform black. Your tears don't fall.
A real Miles Morales, where he like looks at his reflection. He's like, "This isn't me."
Just starts spray painting it.
I just want John Walker to cry. That's all I want, and then I'll be happy. Yeah, this guy isn't so bad, but let's get rid of him. But yeah. So where was Bucky at the end of Endgame? Did we have was that followed at all?
At the end of Endgame, he was with Sam because they had that whole conversation with Old Cap, and Bucky was Bucky knew.
So he was standing there, but that's another thing is the idea of trying to make it so people who watch the movies can go right into the next one. I feel like they wouldn't just kill people off in this.
Yeah,
but obviously there is some leeway because White Vision is out in the world freely.
Right. I would say there's some leeway.
It could just be it's real sad that Bucky died.
Right. Yes, they aren't going to try and ostracize people, but at the same time, this is still Marvel. It's still MCU canon. So they still can if they want to. And there's more to this amends. It's Chekhov's amends. They're setting it up. They're really pushing it in this episode as well. It's gonna go off.
Now that you say that, there's no way Bucky can die without making amends with Yori. But Yori isn't credited for another episode. But that could also be fake because IMDb messed up already.
Right. That's true. Because Yori is actually a friend of
the list.
Yeah, Yori's top of the list. That's true. He wouldn't just I'm saving my friend. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, if there's more meaning to it.
Yeah, you're right.
Then it would involve Yori. But I don't know. They're also trying to push this down our throats in 6 episodes. So
yeah, it's this episode. Even recapping it, it moved so quickly. I watched it a couple times today. I don't know really what's happening. How did we get here?
Yeah.
This was a fast.
That's what I'm saying. It's so convenient for them to travel so quickly.
Right.
But it's hard to follow.
Hopefully this next episode is a little bit slower. The focus is lost too because we're following John and Lamar, we're following Flag Smashers, we're following Team Sam. We're we're all over.
I kind of feel bad because I feel no connection to the Flag Smashers. I know what they're doing is for the greater good and all that, but I'm hey, Carly kind of pulled a bitch move when she burned people alive.
Right, that was the thing. Is they had that
feeling bad for her.
Yeah, they had that moment with
Mama Danya.
Yeah, Mama Danya is dying. It's oh, okay, I can kind of I can relate to that. I can feel for that. And then she blows up the GRC building. It's now it's gone. Now you are the villain, essentially.
Yeah.
I know they're not going to do that. They're not going to make the Flag Smashers the villain, but now they are. That I can't.
But it also needs resolution. They can't just keep that storyline going without having direct conflict between Sam and Bucky.
Right.
It's not going to solve itself. But also we know the power brokers are, because we really have two separate things. We have the Flag Smashers versus the power brokers, and we have John Walker versus Bucky and Sam, but they're traveling at 5 degrees angles toward each other. So we're having this all go on, and they're aware of the other one, but they're slowly meeting it, and then it'll all converge. But I swear to God, if Red Wing doesn't come back,
Red Wing's going to come back at the end of the episode. I think Red Wing's
going to be a real bird, and he's going to talk to Joaquin.
He's going to talk. Yeah, Joaquin's going to be the Falcon.
Joaquin shows up with a Falcon. He's like, Bucky, Sam, check it out. I made the bird do that.
it just shits. It's on command. It poops. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I'm looking forward to these last 3 episodes. So I'm looking forward to them. But at the same time, like if they keep moving this quickly, it's not going to end well.
Yeah, I think it'll be underwhelming. But I'm ready to accept that.
Yeah.
What?
Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Make another Mephisto theory? I don't.
I'm a glutton for punishment, Kevin. Give it to me.
Give it to me.
I will say, I saw a blue sign with a red X and a circle. X-Men and Mephisto.
I shit you not, looked that up because I'm like, what does that mean? And it's just a stop sign. Like, it's just a no parking
European sign.
Yeah. It's like, because I knew you were going to say
episode.
Because I knew you were going to say it, and I wanted to make a joke about it too. I was like, "There's a red X. That's the X Tower. That's the school for gifted youngsters."
Jean Grey's school for gifted youngsters. Thank you very much.
That's true. Yeah.
Dark Phoenix, not canon.
I see. That's the thing. Like, Deadpool being canon, what are they going to do? Like, that's what confuses me.
They don't have to do anything. They can just say, hey, this is canon, but it doesn't really matter.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
Because realistically, like, Deadpool shouldn't be restrained by any legalities. He should be able to show up in DC.
That's fair. Yeah. No,
that's part of his whole, like, power set, is that he operates in different universes. And honestly, one thing I am kind of upset about is, like, they have to nerf Deadpool character a little bit, but I do miss, like, in the comics he can teleport, and I wish they would have had that. And I like teleporting. It's probably my favorite power. That's why Nightcrawler is my favorite X-Men character.
That's probably why they wanted to avoid it, just because they have Nightcrawler already, and
he can die.
Yeah, that too. And the Deadpool in Origins could teleport. And that Deadpool already wasn't a fan favorite, so I feel like if they brought that as well, people just not like it.
Yeah, and it's easier for audiences to accept that, like, Deadpool's powers are that he can regenerate, and that's why he's not dying of cancer. Mm-hmm. So, like, just having the basic set. But people also don't notice, like, passive fourth wall breaking, because fourth wall breaking is a Deadpool power set. Like,
yeah.
When he talks to the camera, that's literally because of his powers, not just how the movie is shot.
Right.
I'm done.
I will say, I will take this time. If you like us doing this kind of this podcasting format, we talked about it during the lull point. We're going to have a long break between the end of this show and the start of Loki. So Friday nights, probably not same time. We'll probably do it earlier. We'll work on a time slot for it. But Landon, Jared, and I are going to be doing a new podcast where 3 of us kind of sit down, just hang out and talk. I'll probably bring on some of the other idiots occasionally. But it'll be called Idiosyncrasies, or Idiosyncrasy. It wasn't plural in our group chat, but it's plural now.
Now it is, because that's what I animated.
Yeah, it's plural now because that's what I animated. Idiosyncrasies starting basically in 4 weeks. So, we'll do our last breakdown, and then that following week we'll kind of just go into a more off-topic chit-chat podcast. Hopefully you guys will enjoy that.
Overwatch night tomorrow. Come check it out.
God.
5th time in a week.
5th time. Like, we're going to have to play a different game next week because we just need a long-ass break for Overwatch. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. This has been a lot of fun. I'm glad we can do. Jared and I have this format to just spew our theories into the universe. Yeah, stay tuned for next week. We'll be breaking down same time, same place, same show. See you guys. Love y'all.